And good afternoon to you. 2:10 on this gorgeous Saturday afternoon. Thank you for staying with us here on WWL Plus as we work hard to showcase all that is 2025 French Quarter Fest. Hi there, I'm Brandon Walker. Part of the attraction throughout the morning is introducing you to the many faces and people not only putting on French Quarter Fest, but performing on many of the 22 stages we do have here on the riverfront. Some 70 some odd vendors, and right here on WWL Plus is the way, or the place rather, to catch them before you come on out. This afternoon we are joined by Sally Baby and Zach Valentine. They're here with the band, Sally Baby Silver Dollars. So happy to have y'all here with us this afternoon. How y'all doing?
Thank you for having us.
It's great for y'all to be here. And we were talking during the break just in setting up. Where are y'all performing first, just to let folks know?
So we will be out here in the French Quarter tomorrow, Sunday, 3:30 at the Crew Eyewear Sunglass Stage.
Nice.
I'm Royal Street.
On Royal Street, right. You know, we know where Crew is. You stop on by, get yourself a pair of sunglasses, see y'all doing your
And
thing.
we're sporting our fancy Crew sunglasses.
They look great.
Here. They're always taking care of us.
You know,
Crew takes care
Crew,
of
good
us.
local company. Yeah, it's always good. And actually, that's pretty cool. You see a lot of local artists and whatnot in a lot of Crew's ad campaigns. So it's good to have y'all here. We were talking about your name, though, and how it has some local significance, too, particularly the silver dollar part.
Absolutely. I feel like I always have a backstory behind a lot of things in my
That means
little
it's a
dimension.
good story.
Yes,
Right.
indeed. And my day job is I'm a historical walking tour guide. So
Okay.
I'm always diving deep into the story. And through some of my research, I found out that the U.S. Mint, where the Jazz Museum is located, they once were the home of the silver dollars in the United States during the years when jazz was emerging in the middle part of the 1890s into the turn of the 20th century. So I wanted to tap into that mojo and maybe manifest a little bit of silver for the band. So
Yeah,
I
you
said,
like
all
the
right,
little
we're gonna tap
silver.
into the silver dollar.
How long have y'all been performing together?
About a year. Oh, Sal and I have been playing together for 2 or 3 years now, but the band's only been a thing since last January.
So tell me about how y'all got together performing.
Oh, it was at Flora's. I was a big fan of Sal. I've been coming down. I'm new to New Orleans, but I've been coming down I'm from Baltimore.
Nice.
I've been coming down for a few years and just admiring Sal's music and their songwriting and singing. And one day we were sitting outside of Sal's favorite cafe, Flora Cafe, and I overheard him say, "I'm ready to start playing again. I just need a bass player." And I have a bass player, and I
Sal, did you take a
shamelessly
break?
went up.
I was in a reconfiguration, kind of like post-pandemic.
Yeah.
And I was trying to figure out, okay, what's this moment in time going to look like?
Yeah.
How's the band going to come back together?
Questions a lot of artists ask themselves then, but look at you now.
Rising up like a phoenix from the ashes.
There
here.
we go, there we go. Here at French Quarter Fest, which has grown so much over the years. I mean, you've had the chance to see that. Talk about what you've seen in terms of the people coming to see New Orleans during this particular festival.
I always love French Quarter Fest because you got all these amazing free shows all scattered around the French Quarter area. I have a beautiful memory of seeing Ellis Marsalis before he passed away over the pandemic at French Quarter Fest, and seeing a lot of amazing artists like Creole banjo player Don Vappy here at French Quarter Fest, Dr. John, Irma Thomas.
Yeah, Miss Irma.
Yeah, so it's incredible to still see a lot of great New Orleans native performers out here, and I'm happy to join the fold because out of the 17 years that I've been living in New Orleans, this is my first to play French Quarter Fest, so I'm excited about that.
That is amazing. That is a full story, full circle moment for you.
Yeah, absolutely, coming full circle.
Where are you from?
So I grew up in New York. I was born in Queens and spent my life around Brooklyn, Long Island, and came here a couple of years after Katrina, around 2008.
When you said that you weren't from here, I was like, okay, he's probably from New York and hear that, but, because there is the similarity, I was like, honestly, he could be from around the 17th Street Canal, baby, you never know.
That's true, I got the honorable Yad accent.
Right. A badge of honor, we wear it. So talk about your set list. What are y'all going to be performing?
Mostly original music, so I've always been inspired from so many of the eras of classic New Orleans music, from jazz to rhythm and blues, brass band music. But when I began really leaving New York and traveling around and coming to New Orleans, I would consider myself kind of more like a folk musician, playing a lot of folk music and blues, and then really delving into a lot of the styles that emerged here. And I would say that we draw more from like 50s and 60s New Orleans rhythm and blues stuff that you would have heard coming out of Cosmo Matassa's studio, and a lot of kind of the 60s soul music like Lee Dorsey and the Irma Thomas, Alan Toussaint stuff.
So in that sense, to say that you're folk music primarily, it's quite literally what that means, just a variety of different sounds coming together, and I mean, that's New Orleans.
Absolutely.
We've had a hard time pinning down what our style of music is because Sal draws from such a deep well that it's really hard to say what it is. But
I've always wondered about that as an artist. I mean, like, you know, folks often ask us, or I've been a reporter for a long time, and so they ask, well, what's your specialty? It's like, well, I for 20 years I've done this, I've done that, I've done this, I've done that. I can't, and I find that there's like a tinge of disappointment because I can't say I've done this every day for 20 years. Do you find that people try to kind of back into a corner to say you play this?
yes,
all the time, y'all, all the time.
And it's usually not the right thing.
Yeah.
We laugh about it because every time like we get a little feature, it's like we get defined in a completely different way, and it's funny because it doesn't necessarily kind of touch upon the things that I'm actually inspired by.
We got bluegrass. I think for this festival, someone said we were a bluegrass band. For another gig, we've gotten Southern rock. We're none of those things. I don't even know what you would call us.
But I guess you can argue in a way that that's a success, right? Going back to the idea of, you know, well, folk music, and that, you know, we give you a little bit of everything. So, I mean, I guess if we keep you guessing, we're doing our job.
We think it's a good thing, actually. Like, okay, they can't define us, neither can we. So maybe we're onto something. I don't know.
As long as
we're
they're listening, right? That
we made it this far.
That part. Zach, you said you've been in New Orleans for about a year or so? 4 years. 4 years. 4 years. I mean, you've got great perspective, too, in terms of how festivals like this, but also the music scene. And also, I think that there's a greater conversation about supporting local artists that we haven't seen in a while. Can you talk about that?
I mean, in all the cities I've lived in the United States, this still here is one of the best places to be a musician, a local artist, I think, just because there's so much work, and the tipping culture is so important here. My first time coming here 10 years ago was actually for French Quarter Fest. It's much bigger than it used to be. And this is definitely a full circle moment for me, but I'm glad to see so many of our friends getting involved into the fold and the way that the local businesses support each other. Like, our whole band has these glasses from Crew, and this is even our first pair. We've had 2 or 3 now, so we feel
y'all doing
really
all right.
well taken care
exactly.
of. You know?
That's amazing.
And other people have similar experiences, so
it's
beautiful.
Y'all check out any of the vendors, the food stops and whatnot?
I haven't had a chance to really enjoy myself yet. I've been giving walking tours amongst all the madness, so it's kind of added another little element of chaos, but it's always fun because I tell all my people, you never know what to expect out here in the French Quarter. So
I
we're
guess quite literally. There was a lady out here giving a tour about an hour ago, and I was thinking, wow, it's got to be hard to do your job in the middle of all of this.
There's so many distractions, everything kind of pulling at everybody's attention. You got to really project and kind of cut through the cacophony.
When did y'all get your start in music? Would you start playing? Would you start singing?
Ooh, do you want to go first?
No. You're more interesting. You should tell me.
You both are interesting.
We both got a story to tell, that's for sure. You go first.
Oh, I started playing saxophone and making hip-hop music when I was like 10 from Baltimore, and then I made hip-hop music through high school, and then I started playing in death metal bands. And then I went to college for jazz bass and dropped out to be a bluegrass musician. And then I found Eastern European music, and I've studied a lot of music from the gypsy culture. And that's kind of my main thing now. When I'm not in New Orleans, I'm mostly playing music from Eastern Europe. But being here, it's still folk, like it's culturally relevant and deep folk music, and that's what I like, and that's where I come
Interestingly, a few weeks ago on our morning show, we had a band over from Ukraine.
Very cool.
Yeah, it was quite wonderful.
Yeah, I love that.
Yes, indeed. A little bit from every piece of the world. So I got involved doing music in New York as a young person, kind of like a theater nerd and choir nerd. Always loved to sing. Kind of pursued around probably a lot of young, angsty, kind of city or suburban teens would go, just starting a rock and roll
Right.
band in your parents' garage.
Things we did back then.
Yep.
Right.
And then kind of going off on my own. I ended up going to school in Florida, dropping out of college, and ended up in New Orleans and realizing that I can make a living playing music on the street. So that was one of the things that really drew me to New Orleans, is that I was able to meet so many musicians that were kind of in a similar pursuit like myself, and I learned from a lot of the brass bands out here, kind of really coming up from the streets to the stage and kind of getting taken into the culture.
Yeah, to
playing on the street.
start out busking, and to 17 years later, here you are.
17 years later.
Performing on stage at French Quarter Fest. Real quick before we wrap up, which stage and what time?
3:30 p.m. on the Crew Eyewear stage on Royal Street, outside the Court of Two Sisters, tomorrow, Sunday. Yep.
Looking forward to it. Thank you for having y'all, or thank you for being here, I should say.
Our pleasure.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
I mean, even the wind is excited. I mean, you're just knocking stuff down
House
left
is falling
and right.
apart.
Yeah, well, you know, as long as it's not a house of cards, though, so it won't come crashing so suddenly. I would like to think. Thank y'all so much. So
Thanks,
again,
y'all.
Sally Baby Silver Dollars tomorrow, 3:30. The Crew Eyewear stage. That's on the other side there by the cathedral, just a little up the street. You can catch it. You can see it there Sunday at 3:30.
Ta-da.
Sally Baby, Zach Valentine, thank y'all so much for being here. Best wishes to you.
Our pleasure. Thank you so
We're
much.
going to continue with everything
thank you.
here from Jackson Square. French Quarter Fest 2025 on WWL Louisiana and WWL Plus. 2:21 the time here. Got a great afternoon planned out for you. Go out, have some fun. Come on back. We've got another presentation for you.